This is our very first Pppoe. What do you guys think? Hold the way up. 3, 2, 1, and stop. What do you guys think? We should have a lucky draw, right?
I don't think we should do it. I don't think this should be a normal lucky draw. Everyone is getting a DVR plate.
This is our very first Pppoe. What do you guys think? Hold the way down. 3, 2, 1, and stop. What do you guys think? We should have a lucky draw, right?
I don't think we should do it. I don't think this should be a normal lucky draw. Everyone is getting a DVR plate.
for taking time out and coming. Good morning once again. We're going to start in about 5. So requesting all of you to please take your seats, and one simple request, please, requesting all the people in the hall to put their phones on silent during keynote, please. Thank you very much.
This is our very first Pppoe. What do you guys think? Who's the winner? 3, 2,
should do it. I don't think this should be a normal lucky draw. Everyone is getting a DVR plate.
Thanks for your patience, everybody. We're going to start in a minute, requesting all of you to take your seats and phones on silent, please, for the keynote. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. A big, warm welcome to all our guests, our media colleagues, and all our Me fans. Thank you so much for joining in. And a special welcome to thousands of fans who are watching us live right now. And a big thanks to you guys. You actually battled the heat of Delhi and took out time to come here. So thank you so much. Few weeks back when we met, when we were launching Redmi 4A, I announced that the successor to Redmi 3S is coming very soon. So we are here today to launch our next Redmi device. But before we go there, I want to talk a little bit about one of the most exciting weeks of my professional journey. We had a special guest a few weeks back. Who was this guy? Our founder, CEO, Lejun. He was here in India, and we got a chance to meet a very special person in India, Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. We were told that we will get only about 10 minutes with him. And we started these 10 minutes by telling him about the whole philosophy of Xiaomi and how we are trying to disrupt the smartphone market. And the fact that these are not just smartphones, these are mini computers. They are bringing millions of people online, especially in Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns. He was very impressed. He actually gave us a lot of valuable advice on what we can do to further improve our business. And he asked us to integrate some of his apps and services, including Bheem app, in our OS. And that's something that we are actually trying out right now. We asked him for a selfie, and he kindly agreed. In fact, he was so impressed by our journey that he posted this on his social media pages, both Facebook and Twitter. And in a few days, he got more than 1.5 lakh people liking his Facebook post. Lejun was very impressed by India, and he asked me, which is the best college or best school in India producing tech talent? And of course, I took him to IIT Delhi. Don't you agree IIT Delhi is the best college in India, best school? So together we discussed a lot about how do we further strengthen our India business. And we said we are going to focus on three things. First, we are going to double down all our efforts from an input perspective in India. Second, we will try and solve this perennial problem of out of stock. People still continue to complain that our products, even though we're the second biggest brand, our products are not available in the market. So how do we solve that? And third, continued focus on both product and services. And I'm going to talk about each one of them. First, doubling down our efforts. So everything, every single possible input, we are going to double this year. For example, number of employees. We did $1 billion revenue last year with just about 150 employees. And by the end of this year, we will easily have 300. We are currently at about 230 people. If you look at number of service centers, we had 225 service centers in India by the beginning of this year. And by July this year, we will have more than 500 service centers. Thank you. We had 2 mother warehouses, both in Bangalore last year. And as we speak, currently we have 4 warehouses, mother warehouses in the country. We had 1 manufacturing plant last year. And as you know right now, we have 2 manufacturing plants. So every single thing we are going to double down in India this year. Second thing about how do we solve this problem of availability? Second biggest brand, you are producing 1 phone per second, but people still continue to complain that they cannot buy this product. Some people, in fact, complain that we are doing this consciously and we are doing something called as hunger marketing, which is completely false. We want to make our phones as easily available to our Mi fans as it can be. So we launched a new initiative last week, which we call as Mi Home. The reason why we call it as a Mi Home and not a Mi Shop or a Mi Store, because we want it to be as comfortable as your own home. You can walk into the store and you can play games or watch videos or sip a cup of coffee for 6 hours, and nobody will ever bother you. Our first Mi Home is in Phoenix Market City in Bangalore. It's a very elegant, very minimalistic design. As you can see, everything is made of wood, not plastic. And all our products that have been launched in India will be available here at Mi Home. We actually think of Mi Home as an extension to Mi.com. There are 2 different parts of the same business, which is our own branded retail. And we are trying to bring all the efficiencies of online into offline via Mi Home model. We actually believe Mi Home will be as cost efficient as any other e-commerce platform in India. So the first Mi Home goes live on 20th of May, which is next Saturday at 9 a.m. And post which, we will be opening 4 more Mi Homes, 1 in Delhi, 1 in Hyderabad, Chennai, and Mumbai. Thank you. And once we have perfected the business model of these 5 Mi Homes, and we have ensured that they are profitable, we would want to open 100 Mi Homes in next 2 years. With Mi Homes, we are making a new promise to our fans today that these Mi Homes will never be out of stock. They will always be in stock. We will do a priority allocation to our Mi Homes. So if you walk into a Mi Home, you will always get a product. And in case, by any chance, if we're out of stock, we will issue an F code so that you can go and buy it from Mi.com. Thank you. So Mi Home and Mi.com are 2 different faces of the same business unit. And we are trying to build the first true omni-channel business here in India. Third thing, which is quality, which is really important for us. So we are trying to focus both on product quality and a service quality. On product side, we go through a large number of tests before we launch any phone here in the country. First one is obviously all different tests which are done at factory, hundreds of tests that we do over there. Then we do lab tests, both in India as well as some of the international labs. And we do field test, which is we take every single phone to different states, different cities, test them on different networks to ensure they're working perfectly. And this is something that many other brands also do. But there's one thing that we do that nobody else does, which is beta testing. Before we launch a phone, we actually give it to hundreds of fans, and they test it out for weeks and months. And only when they approve it is when we launch a phone here in India. So this is what we do from a quality testing perspective on our phones. We're also trying to improve the quality of our service. We run a survey called as NPS, Net Promoter Score, where we reach out to people who have either bought a phone or have used any of our services, like call center, after-sales service, or logistics or me.com. And we ask them, how happy were you with our service? Would you really recommend us to your friends and family members? And I would want to show some of the results from last month NPS. So 94% people said they like our phones. They also said 94% people that they would want to buy a Xiaomi phone again and would recommend Xiaomi to a friend or a family member. So this is on the product side. But when we ask them about service, that in case if you bought it from me.com, were you happy with the logistics service? 85% people said the products were delivered on time and they were very happy with the logistics service. In case they had an issue with the phone and they called our call center or walked into our service center, 75% people said they were very happy with their after-sales service and they would really recommend Xiaomi. Of course, we are trying to improve this. This is just the starting point. But our hope is to further improve these numbers in coming few months and over a period of this year. So this is what we are doing from an input perspective. And this is what leads to output, which is all the love that we get from our fans. So there was a recent survey done by Strategy Analytics, one of the leading global consulting firms. They came to India and they asked 2 questions to people. 1, which phone do you own? And second, which phone are you likely to buy next whenever you're planning to upgrade? When they asked the second question, you might have seen this already, but when they asked the second question, Xiaomi came out as the most preferred brand in India. One out of 4 people said that their next purchase is going to be a Xiaomi phone, which is also reflected in our market share numbers. IDC actually released these numbers today morning. We continue to remain the #1 brand in the online segment. We have more than 40% market share. But what is more interesting is if you look at the #2, #3, #4, and #5 brands, and if you add them up, all of them together, they have about 38% market share, and Xiaomi is 41. We continue to remain the #2 brand overall between online and offline. We have about 14% market share. And Redmi Note 4, in Q1, we sold about 1.8 million units, and it became the highest shipped smartphone in this quarter, Jan, Feb, March, across both online and offline. If you look at last 6 years, there was one brand which was dominating every quarter. There was a particular phone from this brand, which used to be the #1 selling phone every single quarter, online plus offline. And this brand was Samsung. And last few quarters, it used to be one of the J series phones. It used to be J2. And after 6.5 years, after first time since Q4 2011, there's one product which has dethroned J2, which is Redmi Note 4. So I thank all of you guys for your support and making Redmi Note 4 the most loved and the most shipped smartphone in Q1 2017. Thank you so much, guys. So not just Redmi Note 4, but each of our phones are doing really well. For example, Redmi 4, which we launched about 6-8 weeks back. The first sale, we had 2.5 lakh units available, and everything was sold out in 4 minutes. In fact, this became the highest or the fastest selling phone on Amazon India. 91 Mobiles came up with a new survey. They said, which are the top 6 most popular phones in Q1? And 4 out of the 6 were Xiaomi phones. #1, Redmi 4A. #2, Redmi Note 4. And #5 and #6, Redmi 3S and 3S Prime. So 4 out of 6 phones were Xiaomi phones. We also released a new number about our blockbuster Redmi 3S. It became the highest selling phone in the history of online India. We have sold more than 4 million units. This is across Redmi 3S, 3S Plus, and 3S Prime. 4 million units in about 9 months since its launch in August 2016. The previous best was Redmi Note 3, and we had sold about 3.6 million units. And with Redmi 3S, we have even broken that record by selling 4 million units. So last time when we were here, we said Redmi 4A is a new category that we are building, and the successor to Redmi 3S is coming very soon. So very happy to be here, launching our next Redmi device. And to talk more about this, I'll call on stage Jay. Jay, where are you? Oh.
Thank you. We've got this amazing stage, so we wanted to use it from both sides. Thank you all for joining us here. We're really excited to have you as we unveil our next Redmi smartphone. But today, I want to talk to you about our current Redmi hero, Redmi 3S. As Manu mentioned, it's broken all the records online. Now, there are 3 primary reasons why it's done so well: the massive 4100 mAh battery, the awesome performance of the Snapdragon 430, and the 13-megapixel PDAF camera. We've seen an overwhelming response. This is Harish from Android Central. He said that Redmi 3S proves that $100 smartphones don't have to be terrible. Indian Express called it the budget battery king. But it wasn't just reviews from the media. Mi fans also loved Redmi 3S. People like Richa here are calling it the best Android in the price bracket. And ultimately, it's the user feedback that matters most to us. If you take a look at this feedback on Amazon, Flipkart, and Me.com, all the combined ratings, Redmi 3S has 600,000 customer ratings, with an impressive average rating of 4.3 stars. In fact, Redmi 3S is the most reviewed product in the history of Indian e-commerce. It has more than 2 times the number of reviews in the second highest smartphone. So today, we're launching the successor to the king, Redmi 4. All right, I want to start with battery life, and I know I must sound like a broken record because I keep talking about it, but in my opinion, battery life is the most important thing in a smartphone. And amazing battery life was one of the main reasons why people loved Redmi 3S. Let's take a look at some of the data we had. So this was my battery life when I was using it as my daily driver. I'm a pretty heavy user, and I actually had the Wi-Fi hotspot on for more than 5 hours a day. Yet I'm still left with 42% battery. Another heavy Redmi 3S user, Pppoe, managed to get 15 hours of screen on time. 15 hours. And when we showed this last year, many people didn't believe it. And actually, some of you said that screen on time isn't the only thing that matters. But if you read through those 600,000 reviews, it's not just our claim anymore. It's a fact. So of course, we wanted to make sure that we continue this tradition with the Redmi 4. So just like the Redmi 3S, it also packs a huge 4100 milliamp hour battery, which is enough for 2 days of battery. It delivers an incredible 18 days on standby. If you compare Redmi 4 to the Moto G5, it has more than 50% battery capacity, so you can stay powered for much longer. In our lab tests, Redmi 4 also performed well across a range of categories. Take a look at some of the numbers here. This is 13 hours of continued gaming. We have 8 hours of HD video recording and an absolutely incredible 36 hours of 3G talk time. During our internal tests, one of our colleagues, which I'm sure the Mi fans know well, Shashank, he managed to get 2 days of battery life with regular use. Things like browsing, messaging apps, calls, music, and more. Plus, he still had 10% battery at the end of the second day. So Redmi 4, it's the 4100 milliamp hour 2-day battery. Next, I want to talk about performance. The first thing to consider, of course, is the processor, and Redmi 4 is powered by the Snapdragon 435, It's a similar setup to the Redmi 3S. It has 4 A53 performance cores and 4 power cores. So you get the same performance that Mi fans loved with the Redmi 3S. But as a product company, we focus on the overall experience. We don't look at a single component in isolation. We don't design products simply to look good on a spreadsheet. What matters to us is how the phone performs once you actually start using it. Our actual benchmarks are smooth performance, power efficiency, and thermal performance. So Redmi 4 has a gorgeous 5-inch HD display. And people have asked us, since Redmi phones are known to provide great specs at affordable prices, why don't you just use a 1080p Full HD display instead? Well, first of all, because Redmi 4 is a 5-inch phone, it already has 296 ppi, which is reaching the limits of what the human eye can see. And secondly, the display actually has a very big impact on the performance of your phone. So to explain our thought process, let's use a simple example. You can think of Redmi 4 like a heavy-duty truck. The engine is the Snapdragon 435. It can take on a pretty decent workload and still travel smoothly. But if you increase the workload, the truck won't be able to travel as fast as it normally would. The same thing happens if you would pair Redmi 4 with the Full HD display. This is because Full HD displays have twice the number of pixels of an HD display. So we know that the truck will have a lower max speed. But the question is it worth it? Well, to show you a real-world example, we looked at the Moto G5. Both phones have the same graphics card, but Moto G5 has a Full HD display. In our internal lab tests, we found that Redmi 4 has 2 times the frame rate versus Moto G5, and this is using on-screen graphics tests from GFX Bench, like Manhattan and T-Rex. In other words, Redmi 4 is 2 times smoother than the Moto G5. And because the workload on a 1080p display is more, you need more fuel to travel the same distance. This means that Redmi 4 is also more power efficient than the Moto G5. So the third thing we consider is thermal performance, and this is particularly important now. And the combination of an HD display and the Adreno 505 GPU also delivers significantly better thermal performance. So we ran a 20-minute gaming test comparing the same Moto G5 with the Redmi 4. Here you can see the Moto G5 on the left, Redmi 4 on the right. They both start at about the same temperature. If you look at it after 10 minutes, Moto G5 starts to get a little warm, and the Redmi 4 is still cool. But after 20 minutes, the Moto G5 heats up significantly, crossing 45 degrees in a visible way. The top half of this phone is dark red, especially around the earpiece. And if you look at Redmi 4, it doesn't even get warm. So the question to ask is it still worth it to have a Full HD display in Redmi 4 if the performance, battery life, and thermal performance would be worse? Well, our answer, of course, is no. This is why looking at overall performance is the most important thing. In this lens, the 1080p display would actually be a downgrade. So Redmi 4 delivers great overall performance. So next, let's talk about design. Earlier this year, we launched Redmi Note 4, and it was our first smartphone to sport this gorgeous black-on-black matte finish. So of course, we had to bring this to Redmi 4 as well. It comes with a matte black metal finish and body. Now, design is the biggest upgrade that we've made to Redmi 4. This phone is simply beautiful. I encourage you to check it out in the experience zone after this, and you'll see what I mean. Actually, a few people have mistaken Redmi 4 for Mi 6 when I've been carrying it around for the last few weeks. So here's the view from the top. Gorgeous, rounded corners. And here's the full view. Of course, it's also available in elegant gold. And here's the close-up from the back. The aluminum metal body definitely looks gorgeous. The black is super sleek. This is, of course, my favorite. And here they are together, a perfect accessory for any outfit. Yeah. Other than the two colors, gold and black, we've done so much with design to greatly improve the hand feel. Redmi 4 weighs 150 grams and is just 8.6 millimeters thick. It takes remarkable engineering to fit the same huge battery that we have in the 5.5-inch Redmi Note 4 into such a slim and compact phone. It's a clear visual upgrade from the Redmi 3S, especially from the sides. The main thing here is the slim, tapered edges. The 5-inch HD display is sized perfectly to fit in your hand, to provide that classic hand feel. Another big upgrade, the 2.5D curved glass on the front. So how does this curved glass improve hand feel? This is an actual photo of Redmi 3S and Redmi 4. If you look at Redmi 3S on the left here, you can see a lot of the gold metal rim. Whereas if you look at the Redmi 4, the gold rim is barely visible. And the result is that Redmi 4 feels a lot smoother in your hand, especially in the soft part of your thumb when you're scrolling. Getting a lot of applause. Thank you. The corners on Redmi 4 are more rounded, and I really appreciate the ergonomics, especially when I'm taking phone calls, because my hand usually grips the bottom part of the phone. Redmi 4 doesn't just feel better, it also looks better. It now comes with anodized high-gloss aluminum separation lines, giving you that premium look. And if you look at them side by side, you can see that the gold on the Redmi 4 is more tasteful and elegant than the Redmi 3S. The speaker grills are now placed on the bottom for better sound dispersion, and it gives the back cover a cleaner look. I particularly love the symmetrical look of the speakers, especially from the bottom. So that's design. Now let's talk about camera. Redmi 4 has a 13-megapixel PDAF camera with a 5-element lens. It also comes with several built-in features like HDR, panorama, burst mode, and more. PDAF stands for phase detection autofocus. It gives you super fast focus like you can see here. It's just 0.1 second. Now, this results in more consistent photos because they're in focus more often. Let's take a look at some of the awesome camera snaps that we took on Redmi 4. This photo is actually taken outside my house. You can see the outlines of the red brick, and especially the edges on the rooftop. You can also see the crescent moon in the upper left there. This shows that the image is correctly exposed, because otherwise it would have been totally washed out. Here's a macro shot of the leaf. Every detail, the edges, the ribs, the nettle veins, they're all perfectly visible. Now, the ants in this photo are about 1 centimeter, and their antennae are about 1 millimeter in width, yet they're still distinctly visible on this screen. The thing I like most about this photo is the contrast. The color on this guy's jacket is similar to the partition behind him, and yet they're both visible. You can even see the sheen on his jacket. This is an excellent image to show off the dynamic range of Redmi 4. As you can see, this image is taken against the sunlight, and yet the spider here in the foreground is still visible. Here's another image to show off the dynamic range. Half of her face is covered in shadow, and the other half is exposed to sunlight. But no details are lost. And more importantly, the skin tone has come out perfectly accurate. Redmi 4 comes with the 5-megapixel front-facing camera. Just like Redmi Note 4, it has Beautify with now 2 modes, Smart and Pro. You can see here the difference between a regular photo and Beautify on the right. Beautify enhances your selfies so that they look amazing, even without a filter. Beautify does even more with the 2 modes. With the Smart mode, you can select from low, medium, and high, and the Pro mode gives you full control. So you can change whatever details you want and get perfectly customized selfies. All variants of the Redmi 4 now come with the fingerprint sensor, and it's extremely convenient to unlock your phone. Unlocking your phone with a pattern or password can be time-consuming and tedious. The fingerprint sensor unlocks really, really quickly, just 0.3 seconds at the touch of your fingerprints. But unlocking is not the only thing that fingerprint sensors are useful for. Some of you might have seen that Galsasi's Facebook was recently hijacked. Actually, his dad called him while this was happening to ask him what was going on. Literally everybody here wanted a free car. And you can see, Rohit, that was not me. So in the end, we found out who the hijack culprit was. CJ saw that Rohit's phone was lying around unlocked and decided to play a prank on it. So first of all, you should never leave your phone lying around and unlocked, especially if you work with CJ. But if you do, or if you lend your phone to someone, you really don't want them to access certain apps like Facebook, WhatsApp, or your gallery. Redmi 4 comes with App Lock, which adds a layer of fingerprint or passcode security over individual apps. This gives you extra security, even after you've unlocked your phone. So you can use App Lock to protect your sensitive data, and this works for any app installed on your phone. All you need to do is go to your settings and then select the apps you want to lock. It's that simple. The fingerprint sensor also works with Second Space. Second Space allows you to create another profile with different wallpaper, different apps, different files, and different photos. So in this video, the right index finger unlocks a personal profile with this cat wallpaper. The left index finger unlocks a more serious profile. So if we look at it again, you can see here the right index finger. You have your personal apps like Facebook. And then the same phone with the left index finger unlocks to a completely separate profile. Perfect for work. Redmi 4 also comes with an IR blaster, which turns it into a universal remote control for your TV, as well as air conditioners. Again, very important for us now. It has a dual SIM hybrid tray with up to 128 gigabytes of micro SD storage. It comes with MIUI 8, the latest version of our Android operating system that's packed with features. Other than Second Space, we have dual apps, which lets you have a second WhatsApp profile. We have Quick Ball, which puts customizable shortcuts at your fingertips. And we have a full featured calculator with things like currency conversions or weight conversions. Apart from running MIUI 8, Redmi 4 can also run a special preview of Android N. Mi fans can switch to this version out of the box. So this is a special beta version, and as Manu said, we measure ourselves very carefully on quality. We don't want to update our software just to change a version number in settings. So we'll push out the Android N version once we get enough feedback from all of you and make sure that it's stable. But if you want to switch, it's available out of the box. And of course, Redmi 4 is also made in India. Biggest applause for that so far. So in summary, Redmi 4 has a great 4,100 milliamp hour battery, which gives you 2 days of battery life. The octa-core Snapdragon 435 processor, metal frame, and 2.5D curved glass, and a fingerprint sensor for all variants. So now let's talk about the price. We'll do a few comparisons here. The first is the J2. So this is the J2 2016, and even though the older version is a little more popular still, and you can see that across the board, it's worse than the Redmi 4, from the RAM to the ROM to the much smaller battery. But the spread trim processor in particular makes this phone a pain to use. The Moto G5 here starts now at 10,999, and Redmi 4, as we showed, has better battery life, smoother performance, and most importantly, better thermal performance. And then we have the Samsung J2, which has 2 gigabytes of RAM and just a 2,400 milliamp hour battery, and it's 14,000 rupees. So the 216 version with a fingerprint scanner, what do you think's the price? Exactly. This is less than the J2 2016, and it's half the price of the most comparable Samsung phone, which is the J5 Prime. It is the same great price as the 3S, which is why I'm sure you all guessed it, but this time it comes with a fingerprint sensor. So what about the 332 version? So I mentioned the Moto G5 starts at 10,999, has 3 gigabytes of RAM, but just 16 gigabytes of internal storage. 332? 8,999. Okay, so I think you're really going to love this one. We also have a new version. The 464 version of the Redmi Note 4 was the most popular. So of course, we wanted to make sure that we brought this to the Redmi 4 as well. So how much do you think this one costs? $10,999. So in summary, Redmi 4, 4,100 milliamp hour, 2-day battery. A 5-inch display with incredible hand feel. The Snapdragon 435 octa-core processor. The 13-megapixel PDAF camera, starting from just 6,999 for the 216 version, 8,999 for 332, and just 10,999 for the all-new 464 version. So our vision is to bring innovation to everyone with products like the Redmi 4. But we're more than just a smartphone company. Most of you know that we love to bring smart, powerful features to even the most ordinary home appliances. Well, there's one seemingly ordinary product that gets overlooked. It's a product that's frozen in time. The traditional home router. So the routers that you see here range from between 1 to 10 years old. And actually, looking at this photo, it's difficult to tell which is which. In the last decade, technology has advanced by leaps and bounds, but the routers you have still look the same. So today, we're launching our first router, the Mi Router 3C. We don't compromise on design, and the beautiful 3C reflects this. The matte white is subtle and elegant. It fits well not just functionally, but as an object of modern decor. And you can definitely tell that this wasn't made 10 years ago. So we designed Mi Router 3C around 3 key points: smart features, range, and speed. First, let me talk about the smart features. What really sets this router apart is how much more it does than your typical device. It all starts with the Mi Wi-Fi app, which is available on both iOS and Android. All of the smart features are integrated directly into this app. So first, let's talk about setting up a new router. For most people, this can be really frustrating. In fact, I'd guess that most of you had somebody come to your house to install it for you. Well, with the Mi Wi-Fi app, this can be done very quickly and easily. So here, I'm going to show you the setup for the Pppoe connections, which I think is probably the hardest thing to do. It's pretty simple, just 3 steps. First, you open the app, and it'll detect your new router. Second, you plug an Ethernet cable from your old router to the Mi Router 3C. And then third, we'll automatically import your settings to the new router, and that's it. So like I mentioned, this is probably the most difficult setup, but if you have fiber, all you have to do is swap the wires, and the app will guide you through the rest. So here's some other smart features. This is real-time monitoring. You can see at a glance which devices are connected to your network and how much bandwidth they use in real time. So quick question. How many of you here are parents? That's it? Okay. Well, I think the few parents in the audience will appreciate this, or the people who are too shy to raise their hand. Parental controls. We understand that some parents want additional features to control or restrict internet access for your children. With parental controls, you can set up a scheduled time each weekday for your children's internet access after school. You can also blacklist or whitelist certain websites, and you can even set it up to get a notification whenever their devices connect to your network. Next is guest sharing. Every time my friends and guests come over, they always want the Wi-Fi password. But giving away my master password means that anybody can access my network drives, for example. Guest sharing lets you create a unique Wi-Fi login for friends so that I can keep my master password secure. I can also use a really simple password, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So friends don't have to copy complicated things from a paper, or you don't have to remember some crazy password. And then once your party is over, you can just turn it off. So now, for advanced users, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this. You probably know this number for your own router. It's slightly different for every router. It's the browser-based login to your admin panel, and it's a complicated maze of settings and a minefield of potential mistakes. So one of the most important things that you should do here is to make sure that your router is using the best Wi-Fi channel. For those of you who don't know what this is, let me explain quickly. When you're in an apartment complex, there are a lot of competing Wi-Fi networks around. This is an app that shows you all of the networks around, and you can see here it's pretty busy. So usually what you'd want to do is find out where are the empty channels. In this case, it'd be pretty difficult to do on your own. Once you figure out which channel, you have to log in, and actually on this device, changing the channel is buried in advanced settings, and then you have to change it here. So you have to decide, okay, I'll change it to channel 11. Now, as I mentioned, changing your Wi-Fi channel is the single most important thing you can do on your router to increase signal strength and speed. It reduces interference, and it can have a huge impact on your Wi-Fi experience. But it's so complicated and so buried in these annoying admin settings that most people never do it. So we've made this really, really simple, and it's a feature we call Wi-Fi Boost. It's by far my favorite feature of the Mi Router 3C. Wi-Fi Boost optimizes your network experience by automatically selecting the best channel for you. All you have to do is click a button in the app, and it immediately happens. This is so simple that anybody can do it, not just advanced users. So in summary, here are the smart, useful features on the Mi Router 3C. You get real-time monitoring, guest sharing, parental controls, the amazing Wi-Fi boost, and of course, most importantly, super easy setup. So we actually created a video. Let's take a look at that. Oh, hey, welcome to my house. So I'm having a party today, and you can see all the guests are here. What do you think is the first thing that people ask when they come to your house? It's not a glass of water. They always ask for your Wi-Fi password. With Mi Router, you don't have to give them your master password. You can actually create a guest network so that all your guests can just use that. They don't have access to any device on your main network. Your neighbors can't use it. And you can turn it off when they leave. So with Mi Router, it comes with a super intelligent app that lets you have full control of your network right from your phone. It's called Mi Wi-Fi. Let me show you a couple of really cool features. You see that dude over there? That's Pppoe. He's the guy that consumes all the bandwidth every time we have one of these parties. With the Mi Wi-Fi app, you can actually limit the bandwidth of any device in your network. In this case, let's have a little fun. The other thing you can do is add him to a block list, which completely removes him from the network. With one click, I can just block his device. There you go. Another super useful feature of the Mi Wi-Fi app is parental control. When my cousin comes over, I'm responsible. So I can make sure that he doesn't access any kind of weird websites that'll get me in trouble with my uncle. You can also limit the time of day that your kids are on the network. So since I don't have kids, I actually use this for my parents. So another really great feature of the Mi Wi-Fi app is called QoS. It lets you prioritize traffic on your network. So you can prioritize types, things like videos, and make sure that you're always streaming in high quality, or you can limit the bandwidth on your guest network. Here, it's Saturday night, so of course we're watching the match, and with QoS, we can see it in perfect high quality. Let's check it out. That was actually my house, by the way. So that's Mi Router 3C. It's smarter than your average router. So next, I want to talk about range. Most of us connect to Wi-Fi when we get home, and a subpar router can lead to a patchy connection, or even worse, the dead zones, places where your Wi-Fi signal just doesn't reach. Mi Router 3C achieves higher speeds at further distances than your typical routers. It transmits ranges of up to 80 meters with high wall penetration. Now, of course, the effective range will vary based on the number and thickness of the walls in your home. But how do we achieve this range? Well, it starts with having good antennas. Here you see some of the antennas from your typical router. Most of them use basic copper. And actually, this one here is just filled with air. Mi Router 3C has antennas that are made up of high-quality copper paired with PCB antennas for much better Wi-Fi coverage and wall penetration. And that's not all. Mi Router 3C has 4 antennas, and all of them are real. Because we have 4 antennas, we can have 2 antennas that are dedicated to transmitting signals and 2 that are dedicated to receiving. And we also alternate them. So this one will be transmit, this is receive, this is transmit, and then receive. And this further reduces any potential interference, which again gives you better signal range. Mi Router comes with 64 megabytes of RAM. Each device that's connected to your network uses some RAM. So having more RAM means that more devices can connect to your network, and you can keep more stable connections. Mi Router 3C has 8 times the RAM of a typical router, and most of them never list how much RAM they have. So this allows us to have up to 64 devices connected at any time. Okay, so this is the most important thing, speed. How does this all translate into speed? It's the thing that everybody cares most about. And Mi Router 3C transmits data faster and at further distances than typical routers. It delivers up to 300 Mbps combined upload and download speed. But maximum theoretical speed isn't what matters most in practice. We wanted to find out how Mi Router 3C performs in a real-world setting compared to other routers in the market. So you might have seen this photo that I put on Twitter a few weeks ago. What we were actually doing with these concrete blocks was setting up various tests with construction materials, things like copper, aluminum foil, mirrors, etc. We wanted to see what would happen in the real world. So how does Mi Router 3C stack up? Here are the results. You can see that at 15 meters, performance is about the same. When you just go 10 meters further away, the D-Link router drops by more than 35%. But if you look at 45 meters, Mi Router 3C has more than 5 times the speed of the second best router. And the TP-Link router, in this case, barely connects at all. We had even better results for upload speeds. Even at the 15-meter mark, Mi Router 3C has more than double the speed of the next router. And again, at 45 meters, it's stark. 10 times the speed, and the TP-Link, in this case, doesn't connect at all. So here are some of the other real-world speed tests that we filmed in my house. Let's take a look. So I'm sure that some of you have experienced at least one of these scenarios in the video, especially the last one, where you have an Uber and you're walking outside and you're trying to check the status, and then suddenly you have no connection. So, price. How much will Mi Router 3C cost? Well, first, let me summarize quickly. Up to 300 Mbps speeds, up to 80 meters of range, 64 connected devices because of the 64 megabytes of RAM, which again is 8 times more than your typical router. We also have 4 antennas, all real, and all of this is easily controlled from the Mi Wi-Fi app. So price? So this is Mi Router 3C. Smarter router, faster Wi-Fi. Okay, so 2 devices today. Redmi 4, the 4100 mAh 2-day battery, and Mi Router 3C with better range, better speeds, and a smarter software. So let me invite Manu on stage so you guys can take a look at this thing.
Which one there? Okay. Thank you. Are we doing this right? No, this hand, this hand. Router in this hand. Router in the middle. No. Okay. Okay, this side. So when can you buy these devices? Redmi 4 is being launched in partnership with Amazon. So this product you can buy starting 23rd of May at 12 noon on both me.com and Amazon India. For something special for Bangalore Me fans, they can also buy Redmi 4 from a first Me Home starting 20th of May when the store goes live. For Me Home, we are introducing a new feature, which is called as pre-booking. So you can go to me.com starting today evening, 5 p.m., and between now and 19th, you can actually pre-book a device. For pre-booking, you'll have to pay a small token advance money of 1,000 rupees, and by pre-booking, your availability on 20th will be guaranteed. But of course, this is not compulsory, so you can still walk into our Me Home on 20th or 21st, and buy a phone, and we will try and make it available on a first-come, first-served basis. And if we go out of stock, we will issue you an F code. So you can still buy a phone, and you will never be disappointed if you walk into our Me Home. Mi Router 3C is also available starting 23rd of May at 12 noon on me.com. And again, you can go and buy it from Me Home starting 20th of May. This will also be launched on partner platforms, both Flipcard and Amazon, starting 8th of June. So that's all, guys. Thank you so much for joining in today. For our media colleagues, we have something special. We wanted to take all of you guys to Bangalore to experience our first Me Home. But we understand a lot of you could not travel. So we are bringing the Me Home experience here. We have a mini Me Home here. Please do check this out after the launch event. That's all, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Special thanks to our fans who are watching us on live stream. Thank you.